Hey guys, and welcome to the WCG 2012 Grand Final for StarCraft 2. We are in our second wave of semifinals. There are competitors. I am Wolf. With me is Doa.
Hello.
This is going to be epic.
Oh man, yes, it is a PvP semifinal, guaranteeing us now a PvP final because we did have Adele Scott advance from the other side, so we may actually have a non-Korean champion today. Or tomorrow rather, at WCG 2012. Yeah. So this is big. I mean, if Parting gets knocked out here,
this is a rare case, you know, where there's a possibility of a non-Korean player in the finals.
Right.
We had last year, in fact, Xigua, a Chinese player, make it to the finals, was defeated by MVP. And now, of course, we've got MacSed, the possible Chinese contender in the finals, if he can defeat Parting, who already won BWC. So, in a way, he's already one type of world champion, and now he may get his second world championship title very soon. I mean, basically about a week and a half after he already earned his other one.
Parting's on fire, man. And I mean, he took out Combat X. So if he took out Combat X, he can take out anybody.
That is absolutely true.
Yeah.
Here's some information about MacSed. Of course, he went 2-0 over Jim in the quarterfinal, and the crowd is going wild for him because he is, of course, a Chinese representative. There are so many people here.
Oh, man. This is probably one of the most packed StarCraft events I've been to in quite a while. It's really, really cool to see. China loves StarCraft. China just loves esports in general.
Yeah, they definitely do, man. Now, you can see he did take 5 wins in his group. He actually owned his group and even eliminated Younghwa out of the tournament. He's been able to take out several players with really nice timing attacks. That is the Chinese style of StarCraft 2. And I'm wondering if we're going to see something like that in this Pros versus Pros. Is he going to be the bigger aggressor over Parting?
You know, it's going to be interesting to see, too, because, I mean, Parting known for his timing attacks in other matchups as well, but in PvP, he's kind of all over the place, you know? So that's going to be a little bit of an advantage to him as well. I feel like one of Parting's greatest strengths is that he's so adaptable. Pretty much the only person that Parting loses to in PvP, besides Combat X1 games sometimes, is Rain. T1 Rain is like the only person that consistently stops Parting. So Parting is good, man.
He's good in this matchup,
out there.
For sure. And, you know, he actually just won the BWC championship in a Pros vs. Finals against Creator, who was called for a long time the best Pros vs. Pros player in the world because he won the Korea WCS Finals. But now we've got Parting here, knocks him down. He's got 2 Proses to take out in order to win this entire tournament. Map number 1 is going to be Ohana, in fact, a 2-player map.
Yep, and we've seen a kind of a variety of different styles on Ohana. We've seen a lot of expands. We've seen a lot of Blink Stalker play, of course. It's a little bit more difficult to do the Blink Stalker play on Ohana than a map like Antigua, for instance, just because it's a little bit more difficult to jump from. You can see the, for instance, the bottom right, you can see the base area right above the main. A little bit tougher to consistently blink in there, but we still see players try it fairly often. The game is loading, guys.
Look at that crowd. This isn't even the finals yet. This is the semifinals of StarCraft 2. We are in the game. MacSed versus Parting, China versus Korea here at the WCG 2012 Grand Finals.
And here we go, guys. Map number 1, Ohana, and in the upper left we have our red Protoss player from China. It is MacSed. Crowd very excited, of course, to cheer on their hometown hero. In the bottom right, we have our blue Protoss from Seoul, South Korea, from the Team StarTale. It is Parting.
Yep.
Our voices today are a little bit ragged.
Yeah, we got some ragged voice. Been working hard at this event.
Right.
Casting a lot of different games, but it's been a lot of fun.
Oh, dude, it has. Like, it's weird. I've casted less StarCraft 2 this tournament than pretty much any other game. I feel like I've casted the most Warcraft 3, which is very interesting because I've never really done that before or played the game, but I'm having so much fun. I mean, seeing these games that I haven't had as much experience with is really neat. I'm hoping that the fans have been enjoying it as well, getting kind of some exposure to games that they may not see or play or be into quite as much. And that's one of the cool things about WCG as well, is that you get just so many games in one place.
You get so many games and so many people from different places. You know, that's what the World Cyber Games is about, going beyond the game.
Beyond the game, Wolf.
Yes.
That's what we do here.
That's what we do.
That's right.
Now, who is going to take the second gas first is going to be the biggest question on everyone who's watching's minds right now, because in this matchup, if you don't take a second gas at all, indicates some sort of 4 gateway pressure. We've seen, though, Combat X taking a very unique approach with 2 gateways and a robo and a fast expansion. That's what Parting has had a lot of experience in this particular tournament with already.
Yeah. And I mean, that just kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where I don't really feel like Parting is going to be phased too much by whatever MacSed decides to throw at him. It's going to be fairly easy for him to adapt. It's like what he does. He's like the adaptation Protoss, and in PvP anyway. So, yeah, looks like MacSed doing some scouting into the main base. There he is once again.
Stone-eyed. He doesn't even change his expression when he sees his opponents doing a normal build.
He wants to hold that trophy. That's like a big trophy.
That is a cool trophy.
To lift.
It would be tough to lift, but you know what? It would be great to have on your mantle. If you have a mantle. If you don't have a mantle, you can put it someplace else.
You could get a mantle.
You could get a mantle.
That's right. You should get one. Everyone should have a mantle.
I don't have a mantle.
Well, neither do I, but maybe we should just get one.
Maybe we should. Sometimes it's important to have a mantle.
I like that the trophy has a crystal ball in it too. Not only can you just like hoist it and feel victorious, you can also read the future.
It's also
WCG
it also looks like it's a world globe, so you could also, if you got confused about where the continents are, you could look at that.
Yeah.
To remind yourself.
Exactly. If you had a tournament coming up, you're like, I don't know where Australia is. You can just look at your WCG trophy and be like, oh, it's that big island.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know now. Okay.
Certainly the case.
This trophy really has the most utility out of any trophy I think I've seen in esports.
Yeah. Most trophies usually.
Hold on, except for that sword that the GSL was giving away.
Yeah, I like that sword.
Again?
I think that was actually going to be given to someone who got the GSL 5 Codex victories.
Yeah. So that one hasn't been given out yet. Still buried in the stone, if you will, at GOM TV. So
Parting is moving out with double Zealot here, and this is very vulnerable because if you fight a Stalker with this, you're in trouble. But now that he's got his own Stalker coming out and the double Stalker behind this, he's going to be able to put a lot of pressure on MacSed, who is going for a relatively safe, robo-oriented expansion play here.
Yeah, he went gate, robo-gate, and he's going to want to try to take that Nexus fairly soon. But like you said, with the double Stalker and double Zealot, he's going to be able to just kind of, if he wants to, sit in that natural expansion area and just try to deny that Expo for a little bit. But it looks like he wants to put this pressure on with 2 sentries out. He's not going to get up the ramp anytime soon.
If he had gotten one of those Zealots up the ramp, everything would have changed here. But now I think that because he got that force field off, MacSed should be totally fine here.
He should be, but then again,
he needs to warp in another sentry though to be able to hold this.
We've seen this happen in the past where people just decide to let things up. There's the sentry getting warped in, and a Stargate behind us for Parting. So
he gets up the ramp, but he doesn't have enough to warp in. He doesn't want to actually do that. This is just a fake pressure by him to make his opponent make that important sentry so that he can use his gas, or so that he can't use his gas for more.
Look at that, he's trying to warp in on the high ground.
He doesn't get the cancel.
Man.
Oh my God.
3 Zealots and 4 Stalkers in the base of MacSed right now. The Immortal could not have come out at a better time, though. Yeah, he's going to be able to chase that out. But a little bit of damage being done early by Parting, and he's going 2 Stargate behind this wolf.
Double Stargate off one base. What? I have not ever seen this before.
Yeah, well, like we said before the game started, you just never know exactly what you're going to get with Parting. I haven't seen double Stargate for quite a while.
Not on one base, you know? This is very strange.
MacSed's going for one base Colossi as well.
Oh,
he may be going for like speed Warp Prism Immortal drops, I guess, too. But either way, it's not going to work out very well against double Stargate, whether you're going for Colossi or for Warp Prism Harass. Parting in a great spot right now. There's our huge crowd again.
Yeah, a massive amount. That guy standing up looks like he's looking for a seat, but there's none to be had.
Those poor policemen. They just want to find a seat to watch Parting versus MacSed, and they have to keep walking up and down the aisles.
This is the worst possible scenario for MacSed. Yeah, he canceled his Robotic Sword Bane and started Twilight Council, but it's so late at this point because, you know, it's... How do you actually hold this? I mean, can he hold this? This is going to be a timing attack. This is not actually going to be harassment into a late game here.
Yeah, this is not going to go into a second base most likely unless things get weird.
He's even bringing some probes here to mine from his natural because...
A Dark Shrine! There's a Dark Shrine being hidden on the map for MacSed.
This is the only way he can win this game, and he knows it.
Yeah.
This is so smart, actually. Now, what I hope we can see, to be perfectly honest, is 3 DTs, 1 Archon to break up a force field, and then send the DTs in. That's what we should see here.
Yeah, Parting is certainly in big trouble right now. If he doesn't see these DTs coming, he has no detection at all. Yeah, kill all the probes you want, man, because those DTs from MacSed are going to do so much more damage. This game is already so good.
It's getting heated up, man, and it looks like he's hesitating a little bit on that timing attack. He's trying to warp in a few more Zealots first before he does this. Going to get a few more probes on his attack as well. And look at MacSed's resources. He doesn't have a lot of resources to warp DTs in, so it's definitely going to be a one-shot thing. And a fake chrono on the Twilight Council is so smart. I like that, because with the fake chrono here, it looks more likely that he's researching Blink for his Stalkers, which is a normal response to Phoenixes.
It totally would be, and I mean, the thing is that the Twilight Council is the only building that doesn't actually have a physical representation of when something is being researched on it too, so you can actually do this. It's one of the few cases where you can chrono boost something and fake out your opponent, even if you're not using it. Now, Parting is getting a robo, but here come the DTs right now. First DT coming up the ramp. Will Parting take too much damage from this?
He goes right for the robo.
Yeah,
he needs to make sure that he can target this down.
Yep.
And the Zealots come in as well. I like that he brought the support Zealots in here.
Oh man, the robo is finishing, but I don't think there's going to be a way to get an observer out in time.
The probes for Parting even wasted some of his space. There's no way. It goes down. And that's going to be it. There's no way Parting can win this game now. It's impossible.
The robo's down, and Parting's going to be soon to follow. He's trying to build another robo in his natural. No, maybe it's a third. Never mind. GG! And MacSed takes game one. What a brilliant response to proxy that Dark Shrine.
Oh, unbelievable. It was a risk, but he knew exactly how to win a game where he had all the cards stacked against him. And now Parting, the big favorite, I feel, of winning this best of three, is now down a game.
I'm worried about Parting. That look on his face is the exact same look when he loses a game against T1 Rain. And when Parting has that look on his face, you can be sure that it's going to be a long shot for him to win a best of series. So Parting needs to get it together, man. He can't let his emotions get the best of him here.
You know, he took a crazy build at a risk.
Yeah, he did.
Knowing that MacSed loves to do one-base Colossus. He's a Chinese player. One-base Colossus is the style that you expect from a Chinese player in Pros vs. Pros, especially on a two-player map of this size. He chose the perfect builder for it, but MacSed's response, as soon as his observer saw it, he canceled his robo, got Twilight Council, faked the chrono boost to make it look like it was the perfect response, even made a ton of Stalkers. One DT and one Zealot was all he needed to kill that robotics. Beautiful play, beautiful response by MacSed.
No kidding. And I mean, it was a good read by Parting too, because MacSed did initially go for that one-base Colossus like Parting was expecting. But yeah, I mean, we need to maybe revisit who the adaptation Protoss really is here, guys, because MacSed definitely showing his strength in that category as well. So, game number 2 will be played on Cloud Kingdom.
Absolutely, this map is great for Blink Stalker play.
Yes, it is.
And I think that's what we'll probably see from at least one of these two players.
Yeah.
And you know what I would expect to see Parting, considering his situation in this best of 3 now, is a defensive robotics expand where he can be prepared for Blink Stalkers. He can be prepared for taking his expansion. He can also be prepared for Dark Templar. He'll have scouting information. If he takes a risk here, he may find himself eliminated from this tournament.
I think you're absolutely right, Wolf. I think this is going to be a game that Parting needs to play safe. His tournament life is on the line right now, guys. MacSed, 1 game away from getting to the finals at WCG 2012 and representing his country in his homeland. This is pretty epic. Guys, I've missed StarCraft 2 so much. I have not gotten to cast anywhere near enough of it in the last month or two. Well, so happy to be here in Kunshan.
I found a rare sight. Look at those. You see those seats? There's like 4 of them. Somebody better get those.
Oh, dude.
Somebody better get those, man.
They got to snipe that, man.
All
Here
right.
we go.
Game number 2. This player down to the bottom left represents China. It's MacSed. Up a game in the series. And his opponent, representing Korea, representing the team StarTale, is Parting to the top right.
Yeah. Now, as far as the top PvPers in the world, my list has always gone, I want to compare it to your list, Wolf. My top 3 have always been Parting is number 1, Rain is number 2, Creator number 3. And that fluctuates. You never quite know who's going to win in a series, but I think overall in PvPs, that's my top 3.
Most people will not dispute that trio for sure. They do shuffle around as trends change, but I'd say that I fully agree that is my top 3 picks as well. It's hard for me to say which one of the 3 I would say is the best, because I feel like this matchup is it's very volatile. It's very hard to actually be the best, but people have dominant periods. And this is definitely the period where Parting is the most dominant, I would say.
Well, it's so interesting because if you look at those 3 players, they're all very good in very different ways. Parting is just very, very good at adapting, like we saw, you know, being ready for pretty much anything, having a wide variety of builds. Rain is just good at playing a very standard long game in nearly every matchup, especially PvP. And Creator is just very good about his craziness. He's not afraid to forgate. He's not afraid to take big risks, and they seem to nearly always pay off for him. So the top 3 in PvP right now is such a fascinating thing. And after this series, we may need to think about adding MacSed to that list as well.
Yeah, man. It's definitely a possibility. I've always been impressed by MacSed's play. Just his ability to think on his feet and his builders, how he's never afraid to take a risk. And I think that's something that's really admirable, especially in a tournament like this where the format for group stage is a best of 1. Then even the semifinals are only a best of 3. That's a very risky thing to do, what we saw in last game.
You know, well, even at the top level of StarCraft 2, and there's another shot of our crowd there, everybody, military, police, citizens, loves StarCraft in China.
That girl didn't hide her face.
Nope.
She let everyone know how cute she was.
That's right, man. And now I completely forgot what I was going to say, but that's okay.
It's fine.
We've got some scouting here from MacSed coming in. He sees the second gateway go down. There is the cybernetic score, of course, as well. So Parting looks like he could be going for some 3 Stalker pressure, and there is a very popular Blink Stalker build where you go that 3 Stalker pressure into the Blink Stalker on 1 base. Artosis loves that build. He talks about it all the time, too. And that is kind of, I feel like, one of Parting's hallmarks almost in PvP.
Absolutely.
Certainly one of his best.
But I fear for him. To take a build like this is very risky. And MacSed is actually still lurking around the base a little bit. He wants to get out because he doesn't want to lose that probe. But he was trying to find out if any additional gateways would be added. If it was 3 gateway pressure, for example, that's something he definitely would have wanted to know about.
Dude, actually, his timing was so good. He left right as that Stalker was going to come out. He knows his timings exactly. And there's a Twilight Council, for Parting. So it will almost certainly be Blink Stalkers unless we're seeing some sort of absolute DT craziness. Meanwhile, we've got a Robo going down on the production queue for MacSed, so it looks like he's going to be doing the safe expand build that we were talking about a little bit earlier.
I feel MacSed's build has a slight advantage in this situation, but the thing is, if Parting executes this perfectly, he can still take it. It all comes down to his micro and his decision-making. Where is he going to target? How is he going to approach this? Because if you actually approach this the wrong way and that Immortal gets out and gets too many shots up on your Stalkers, you just will lose the game. You're behind a tech. You can't really expand with those Blink Stalkers on this map. You have a chance to, but it's definitely going to put you so far behind, you're going to wish you hadn't executed the build in the first place.
Oh, absolutely, man. And I mean, at least Parting has chosen to take that risk on, one of the best maps for it. I mean, Cloud Kingdom and Antigua, certainly the best. He's actually going to add an Observer with this as well, just so he can blink into the main. I mean, not surprising at all. Does slow things down ever so slightly, but very, very rarely do you see the observerless Blink Stalker builds in PvP right now.
I'm good. I'm really glad to see that he's actually going for the Robo with this because I feel I thought originally he might go for that build with the Robo list, and that's tough to execute, especially against MacSed's build. But for him now, he's playing a build that's much safer. It's an expansion-oriented build because with the Observer out this early, you can harass your opponent from so many different angles before you even start your Nexus. Then you start your Nexus. He's basically got flies buzzing around his head. He's got bees bumbling, and he's just trying to swat at him.
Man, what if MacSed has a fear of bees like I do?
What if
then he's in trouble? He's just going to freak out. He's going to be like, whoa.
What if he's allergic?
Well, then he's in even worse trouble. My dad's allergic to bees, man. I'm not, but
what if the bees have Blink researched?
What if they're Blink bees?
What if they're Blink Stalkers?
What if they're Blink bees with extended thermal lances, man? Extended thermal stingers? These are some terrifying bees that Parting's bringing to this game.
Oh, well, this is a great, fortunate timing here for Parting to be able to catch the Observer with. This means that MacSed will have to make another Observer. He is going 1-base Colossus 2 games in a row here.
Yep.
Well, I didn't expect that,
Well, like we mentioned, it's the Chinese style in PvP, but yeah, a bit bold to do that 2 games in a row. And I mean, it's not something, because you're going to be spending so much money on these Colossi, you're not going to have a lot of Immortals out, so Parting's got a really good window of opportunity here to actually do some decent damage with this.
And because he killed the Observer, MacSed has to make another one, because if he doesn't, then he's not going to be able to stop the Blinks into the main, so this eliminates one Robo Chrono from those Immortals.
Yeah. It's not enough Stalkers right now for Parting to just jump in and try to focus the Immortals and end it, but he can, go into the back. I'd love to see him shift around to the other side.
If he gets this Observer, he gets it, and this is terrible for MacSed.
Yeah, completely, man. And I mean, Parting's going to be able to just kind of blink into every little part of the base. MacSed's positioning for his units right now are really good. They can cover everything fairly well. And we'll see what Parting decides to do. He did put down a Nexus, so he is just going to expand off of that. I agree with that completely. After seeing 2 Immortals on the high ground, not something you want to blink into unless you want to take a huge risk.
He also saw the Eurobox 4 base, so he knows, okay, you're just going to try to hit me with an attack. If you move out, I'm going to blink in your main. This is the best map besides Antigua for this strategy, and so I'm just going to do it. And there's no way you can stop my Nexus. I've already got my Immortals starting back at home, so if you try to attack with those Colossi, you're going to need support, because if my Immortals get to connect, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and MacSed just going for it with 1 Colossus, it looks like. He may be trying to push out to try to expand as well. He's got enough minerals to throw down that Nexus, and there goes Parting into the main. Just like you said, Wolf, he's going to do some damage, and he's got plenty of time to get out of there.
Yep.
Yeah, no
Beautiful
losses.
blink. No Stalkers spliced there, not able to get out.
Yep. And it's that little bit of damage, like you said, it's those bees buzzing around your head that's going to be really annoying for MacSed to deal with. And Parting trying to get a cancel on the Nexus. Can't quite do it, but he's going to blink into the main. Yeah, here's where it gets really annoying for MacSed.
Yeah, he's going to start to lose too many probes here because Parting's already got the economy of 2 base running right now, whereas MacSed can't even secure this Nexus. He wants to get these Colossi.
Ooh, that was dangerous for MacSed. I mean, he can't lose those Colossi. Oh, nice targeting of that Sentry, too.
Oh, look at that. He just blinks right in.
Oh, I love it.
But this is scary because Colossi can walk over cliffs.
Yeah, and that is some bad positioning there for that 1 Colossi for MacSed, and he loses 1. Parting.
I like the choice of MacSed to try to do that with his Colossus, but if he had pulled back just a little bit, I think that would have been better. He could have eliminated, potentially 4 or 5 Stalkers there, and that would have been worth the trade, but in this case, he wasn't able to do it, and now he's going to lose a second Colossus, but really nice micro. That's the kind of thing that you have to do with your Colossus. You actually have to dangle it out there like a carrot on a stick for Parting because you need to eliminate some of these Stalkers, or else you're never going to be able to mine from your expansion.
Yeah. Now, Parting's trading very efficiently here, too. He's trading like 1 or 2 Stalkers for a Colossi, 1 Stalker for a Sentry. He's still able to blink into the main like he's about to do. There he goes. And he's always focusing the probes on gas, too, which is really nice. Oh, look at that. Hitting units for MacSed.
Yep, a great position with the Colossus here. He needs to pull it back. Nicely done. Oh! And that was great for MacSed. A nice trade there.
Yeah. Extended Thermal Lance being researched now for MacSed, so Parting's window of time to do this is going to be over with. He's going to try to snipe this Immortal down, and he's going to get it, but those Zealots are going to trap those Stalkers against the wall. A little bit extra damage being done to Parting, waiting for that blink cooldown, and...
Oh, beautiful micro here, doing individual blinks in this situation is exactly what you want to do.
Yeah. Man, Parting just putting on a school for this Blink Stalker expand build. And 2 Colossi out again for MacSed. Parting needs to be a little bit careful here because while he's losing army, MacSed is gaining army.
Yeah, he certainly is, and he's making the better composition. Trading this many Stalkers for Immortals is not what you want to do. Yep. If he gets the Colossus, though, it's worth it, and he does.
Totally worth it.
Because that's the scary thing. If MacSed ever has 4 Colossi against just this Blink Stalker play, and he moves across the map, Parting will actually not be able to do enough in the main base. He can just leave an Immortal and some Zealots back there as he's been doing, a walk across the map and potentially kill Parting. So Parting needs to start getting his own Colossi out, I feel.
That's right. Now, I'm wondering, though, if Parting is just going to try to stack a bunch of Immortals onto this as well. That's also a response we've seen, too. And with the low number of Colossi going down again to just basically 1. I mean, that Colossi will die so quick in a fight.
Yeah. And the second one is baiting here a little bit. But
he's going for it. Oh,
he goes for it, and he actually will get both.
Wow, Parting taking out both of those Colossi, reducing MacSed to only gateway units.
Yeah, and mostly Zealots, in fact, against Blink Stalkers.
Yeah.
This is not the situation MacSed wanted to happen.
And yeah, like we were talking about, Parting's just going to just load up on Immortals. If you have a fight where your opponent has like 2 or 3 Colossi, even if you have less and you have like 4 Immortals, you're just going to tear through their Colossi so fast, it's not going to matter.
Yeah. And that's where these Zealots from MacSed come in here, but it's you know, the situation where he lost both of those Colossi, his idea was correct, but he just was not able to execute it properly. Parting did not mess up his micro, and he's just going to pick off some more gas probes. He'll blink out. Boom.
Yeah, and getting those gas probes, he does lose the Observer, but getting the gas probes is so important, too, because it tasks your opponent's multitask, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, a blink ahead, he's going to blink right on top of those Stalkers, though, but again, that Colossi nearly dead. You can almost count it as dead.
Yeah,
the damage it's going to bring to a fight is nil.
Because he only has 1, MacSed can't really capitalize on these blinks forward. He can't actually stop Parting here. Parting's Stalker count is way too high. He doesn't have enough Stalkers to deal damage. And look at this micro. The Zealots are not even worth anything here.
Yeah, just thinning up the numbers, and here comes the 4 Immortals. This is going to be the end of the game. No way that MacSed can hold this off, and Parting is going to bring the series to a 1-1. There's the GG.
GG.
Startail Parting not going down without a fight. We are going to the ace match, guys.
Yeah, this was already such a great series, but it doesn't end here. MacSed going for his one-base Colossus 2 games in a row, and then was able to force and expand off of it. And I liked his Colossi baiting, using the ability to walk over cliffs to try to draw Parting in, and Parting took the bait sometimes, but I feel like MacSed was almost a little bit over-eager. He lost those 2 Colossi in that one situation where that gave Parting enough, I want to say momentum, really, to actually just keep pushing through and end the game.
Well, he definitely outplayed him right there. That dude has a camera on his head.
Yeah.
He's getting some amazing shots, I guess. I don't know.
He's shot getting guy. That's what he is.
Shot getting guy.
He's like, I'll get any shot you need.
he bungee jumped in here with that on his head earlier, but now he's just wandering around looking at people in booths, I guess.
Yeah,
that's what he does. So, Parting, that's going to give you a little bit of confidence back, definitely. I mean, that's a game where you can feel very comfortable that you outplayed your opponent to get the win. That is also something where it's going to be kind of taxing mentally on MacSed as well to play that long, grueling loss. So we're going into Game 3 on Daybreak, and I feel like the mental state of both of these players is going to be very even right now.
Yeah, I would say so. And I think that on this map in particular, this is my second favorite PvP map. My favorite is Ohana, but this map is every strategy is possible. The Blink Stalker play we saw from Parting, though, is very difficult to actually pull off on this map because you can't really blink into the main from the side. There's not enough space. Or there's too much space in between the location there where you can mine and, of course, the main base to blink through.
Well, this is going to be a map that Parting's going to need to probably play the long game on. And MacSed is like, all right, let's do this. Let's see what you can do in a real macro PvP. And Parting's good, but...
We even have Bags in the studio to watch this game. What are Bags doing? I didn't even know Bags like StarCraft.
Even inanimate objects love StarCraft, too. It's so obvious.
Well, let's jump into the third and final match, the ace game here at the WCG 2012 Grand Finals with Wolf and Dog.
And here we go, guys. Game number 3 in this PvP semifinal. And in the top of the map, in the red, representing China, we have MacSed.
There he is.
Yep. Putting down his pylon. Down in the bottom of the map.
Going nuts for MacSed.
They love him. He's on his home turf. There's Startail Parting. Our blue Protoss at the bottom of the map. Daybreak.
Yeah.
Representing Korea, trying to get 2 world championships in short order.
I would say Parting very highly favored internationally to win this best of 3, but he started off to a rough start, you know.
Yeah. Well, we can't count out Adele Scott, too. I feel like we're talking already like the winner of this is going to win the tournament, and I feel like the winner of this match certainly is going to go into the final as the favorite, but we certainly can't count out Adele Scott as well.
Yeah.
Coming from the other side of the bracket.
You're right.
And it's going to be such an exciting final, guys. I can't wait until that tomorrow. All the finals, except for the Dota All-Stars finals, are tomorrow. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, most finals will be tomorrow.
Yep.
So don't feel like you're going to miss anything. Don't feel like you got to stay up and watch everything. And then eventually you're like, where's the finals for StarCraft? I really wanted to see it. Don't worry.
You'll see it. It's just tomorrow. It's okay.
Yeah.
I can't believe how packed this is. Man.
So believe it, man. This is epic.
Yeah, absolutely. This is so cool, dude.
Well,
cool.
At this point in time, we have both players going for a scout, a very special scout for Parting where he's checking, does not want to get 2-gate proxied like he did against Combat X.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's you always have to be careful. Before that match, I was talking to Parting, and there we are.
Here we are, of course, casting this.
That's right. That's where we're sitting. You can see the fans behind us as
well. There's Kaldor.
Hey, look.
Don't miss him. And there's a Chinese commentator, very famous.
That's right.
And last but not least, OGN's casters as well.
Yep. So Parting doesn't want to get caught by any cheese. I was talking to him yesterday before the Combat X match. I'm like, watch out, man. He's a cheeser. And he's like, oh, okay. And he was very diligent about his scouting for that, too. So
yeah, extremely diligent. In every single game, he checked every location for potential proxies, even for Dark Templar proxies.
Yep.
Now the core here slightly ahead for MacSed, and his gas is going around at the same time as Parting's. Will we see another one-base Colossus type opening out of him?
You know, that would be absolutely fascinating because MacSed could be going into this thinking, all right, I'm going to still go one-base Colossus if Parting decides to expand, which is kind of the de facto way to play this map. Then I'm going to have a really strong timing against that. Blink Stalkers aren't going to be as much of an option, and it's unlikely that a Korean Protoss player is going to go for one-base Colossus themselves, too. So this could be a good opportunity for MacSed to, in fact, go for that one-base Colossus for a third game in a row. Sounds crazy, but it may work. It looks like, though, MacSed getting that Twilight Council.
Yeah, he's going the Twilight Council route.
Interesting.
Would not be surprised to see DTs on this map because Blink Stalkers are so tough to use. But a Blink Stalker attack by ground at the natural is actually really good on this map because there's so much space to work with. You get so much surface area with your Stalkers. Most or all of your Stalkers get to fire. It's a little bit tougher to do a build like that on a map with a secondary ramp like Ohana, for example.
Yeah, that's very true. Parting's going to be doing the 2-gate Robo Expand, so he will have an Observer. That's going to really help him defend against Dark Templars if that is the case. MacSed getting Blink immediately, though, so it will be a Blink build from MacSed. So, you know, I feel like there's a lot of mind games going on in this PvP. MacSed, one-base Colossi, 2 in a row, now going for that Blink build on a map that's not ideal for Blink. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see if he's going to be able to make this work. Will Parting be expecting this?
Ooh, Hallucination. He's actually going to use Hallucination to get some extra vision for his Stalkers.
I like that. I actually do like that a lot. That's actually really cool. So
I've never seen this before, actually, in PvP like this.
I feel like I've seen it maybe once. I feel like I've seen it once. I'm hearing Gangnam Style in my headset for some reason.
I heard that too, but...
What? It's like you live in Korea for so long, you just start hearing it from time to time. It's like wake up at night in a cold sweat. You're like, oh, Gangnam Style.
I live in Gangnam, man. I can't escape.
You're right. You brought it on yourself, though, Will.
I brought it on myself. It's a great place to live, though, I will say. This hallucination research is lining up pretty nicely with Blink, and he may actually, now that I think about it, I don't think he's going to use this vision. I think he's going to maybe make some fake Stalkers. How do you target your Immortal on Stalkers when you don't know which Stalkers are real and which ones are not?
It's very true. That's very true, man.
That could be really interesting.
That would be so fascinating. And I mean, well, Parting's going to see all this.
He's not going to see, of course, the hallucination, but he's thinking, oh, very heavy one-base Blink Stalker play. No Robo. He hallucinated Colossus. He actually decides to blink it, but he has not even close to enough Stalkers
here. He used the hallucinated Colossus to get the Stalkers in, but yeah, big mistake there. And Parting knows it, calling the bluff. Creative, definitely, by MacSed, and that had to make Parting's heart skip a beat there for a second, seeing that Colossus suddenly appear, but oh yeah, that's not a real Colossus. And so Parting's going to move down this ramp very comfortably now. MacSed in trouble, guys. Yeah,
he's in big trouble. You know, I really expected him to do something more with that hallucination research, but now he's so far behind. I don't think there's any way for him to recover. Parting can actually just make his own Twilight Council, get counter blink, and end the game.
I think Parting may just want to try to end the game right now, too. He knows MacSed doesn't have enough Stalkers to do any sort of counter blinking that Parting can't defend.
Plus, on this particular map, there's no really way to blink into the main. He doesn't have a Robo for Observer, so he'd have to use Sentries, which he also knows he doesn't have because he can see that right now.
Very true. So it looks like it will be a Robotics Bay for Parting. So he's going to expand and go for Colossi. Now he knows he's way ahead in terms of that. His opponent's not going to be able to match his Colossi count anywhere near as quickly. So Parting off to a great start in this game.
Yeah, I would love to talk to MacSed about this build because it probably works for him a lot of the time. He's actually, I think, probably the best Chinese player in the world right now, and I
would agree. Yeah.
He actually uses this build quite often, I would assume, if he used it in this tournament. And I think he didn't really put a lot of, maybe there was some nerves, he didn't really put a lot of thought in it, because if he had walked that Colossus up and seen how many units were there, he would have never in a million years decided to blink in there.
That's very true, man. You know, I would say probably the only Chinese player that I would say could contend for the top spot would be Xigua.
Xigua and Com I think are the top three.
Xigua's at IPL 5 right now, and he had a pretty good performance. He actually did pretty well in that tournament.
He was the finalist of last year's StarCraft 2 at WCG.
Yeah, that's very true. And Parting may lose a unit. Nope.
Not even one.
Nope. Doing very, very well this game. His expansion is up sooner. His Robotics Bay is up sooner. He's going to have his first Colossus out before MacSed really even gets to start one, just now starting that first Colossus.
Yeah, it's going to pop out here.
So the question is, you know, will Parting be very aggressive with this and just go with his first Colossi, or will he wait for two potentially? Because if he goes with one, it's going to be 1 versus 1 when he gets to his opponent's face.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. And it looks like he may be deciding to go for it anyway, though, and having that Colossus catch up a little bit later.
Yeah, and something to consider is the Immortal count here is 3 to 1, and MacSed is not going to have any additional Immortals out. He's just going to be stuck with that 1 for the rest of this game.
All right, get ready for this, guys. Wait till you see this crowd. Look at that. all the way from the back.
And that's not even everybody. That's just like a small portion of the people who are here.
We've got an entire other building this size filled with people, too.
Very true.
And here comes Parting.
Oh, my God.
Great force fields. Look at that.
This is terrible for Parting. Parting's army just is going to crush MacSed. Even though with the good force field, it just doesn't seem to matter.
Terrible for MacSed.
GG.
And
that is it.
StarTale Parting going to the finals. MacSed looking a bit stunned. He tried a bit of a risky build, and in the end, it did not work.
Wow. Parting is a now double-time finalist for one of these World Leagues. He was able to take the finals in BWC. He wants to try his hand at another PPP finals. So now it's all decided. We've got a Pros versus Pros finals. It's going to be, of course, Parting up against Adele Scott. And, of course, it's going to shake the hand of MacSed, being very respectful here after that victory.
And it's got to be a tough loss for MacSed as well, you know, losing in front of his hometown crowd. The crowd right now, very silent actually, very somber, but the crowd in Korea definitely going crazy, and I think a lot of the global fans as well. Big fans of StarTale Parting. Happy to see him get to the finals. So there is your finals, guys. It's going to be Parting versus Adele Scott tomorrow.
Yeah, and that is what we will see.
Yep.
This is going to be it for StarCraft 2 for today. And, of course, you can see Marine King stepping into the booth. And there's Caldor, of course.
There he is.
Very famous StarCraft 2 commentator and longtime friend of Parting.
Yep. And I think that's going to about do it for us, guys. So we'll catch you later. Thanks for watching. More WCG action coming up right after this.